Hey guys, it's Crystal Lee Moore Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Crystal Lee Moore. This is Realtor Life, and I am so excited, guys. We have a fantastic guest today. We have Dale Marsh, who's the current chair of our London and St. Thomas board. Dale, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for the invite, Crystal.
So pumped to hear all about your journey. Dale is an active realtor, but also he is like giving so much time and energy to the industry. Dale, so right now, so you are a realtor with Keller Williams.
Yes. Yeah.
You are the chair of the London St. Thomas Association of Realtors.
Yep.
And how long have you been doing both of those? Like as far the chair, but how long have you been volunteering and working in real estate?
So I got my real estate license Groundhog Day 2006. So February 2nd coming up. Next Groundhog
Amazing.
Day will be 20 years. So yeah, every day is like Groundhog Day, like right? So been volunteering at the board. I think I started around 2012. I got licensed in '06. Started volunteering there around 2012, I believe. I
Okay.
got elected then as a director for a 2-year term. So I was on in 2013, 14 as a director, and currently I'm in my eighth current year. So I took a few years off between that first 2-year term. I enjoyed it, but with
Yeah.
young kids and family life, it was just you feel like you're getting pulled in four different
Lot.
directions at times. Um, so I took a break, came back and did 3 more director terms, and then last year stepped up to chair elect, and then this year I'm the chair, and next year I'll be past chair.
That's fantastic. Good for you. If we step back a bit more, so in 2006, you decided to do it and become a realtor. I'm always
Mhm.
curious, what was the reason that you became a realtor? Like what was it?
So I took land surveying at Fanshawe College back in the mid '90s, a few moons
Okay.
ago. I did that for a couple of years in Markham, Toronto, Ottawa area. So laying out subdivisions, that sort of stuff, lot grading, sewers, curbs. I
All
love
the
that.
important stuff.
Yeah, being outside, you're in a different spot every day. I loved it. It
Yeah.
was great exercise too. So, and then I worked at Terranet, who created Geo Warehouse, which realtors
Yes.
across Ontario use. So I
Yep.
was a title searcher there. Started there in '06. Sorry, not in '06, in '98.
Yep.
And in '05, they told us we're going to be done our job in 2007. So in
Okay.
2006, I'm like, okay, I need to start getting prepared.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I've got a land surveying and a title searching background. They're all related to real estate.
Yep.
And actually, the lady that I share my office with, Barb Whitney, who's also a past president of L-Star, she was my realtor at the time. My
Nice.
wife and I were moving. She said, "What do you do for a living?" I told her, she said, "Oh, I think you'd be really good at real estate." So I took the courses and absolutely loved it. Got licensed February 2nd of '06, and Terranet was supposed to be done '07. And then right after I got licensed, they extended our contract by a year and then another year
Of
and
course.
then another year. So I did both for 5 years. So when people talk about part-time realtors,
Yes.
I have a lot of compassion for that. I treated both as a full-time job. I basically had 2 full-time jobs, and there were
Yep.
times where I didn't see my wife and children for 3 days because you leave the house at 6 a.m. and they're sleeping. You get home at 11 p.m. and they're sleeping, right? So you do that for a few days, and it was a great way to build a database and not feel pressured to
Yes.
make a sale, right? Because I have
Absolutely.
that
I think
steady income and
Yeah, I
benefits.
think a lot of people start that way. Like I know even like for me, I started kind of having one foot in a career, in my career in law, and then one foot in the real estate world. But it's when you take that leap, I think that's when you get serious about it. But it's
Mhm.
hard to take that leap at first.
Absolutely. And I mean, my first year I did 18 deals while working full time.
Nice.
So my broker at the time, I asked him, like, what do realtors do during the daytime, right? Because I was working full time from 7 to 3:30,
Yeah.
and then by 4 p.m. I could be anywhere in the city for showings, and most
Yeah.
people work Monday to Friday during the day, right?
Yeah.
So It was a lot of long hours,
Yeah.
and returning calls on breaks and lunch breaks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But it was a great way to get experience and get my feet wet without feeling that pressure with a young family to I already had the steady income. Um, but yeah,
Absolutely.
it was a little scary to jump into full-time
It
commission
is.
sales once I was done that
Yeah.
full-time job, right? But it's worked out well. So
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing, right? So I know like I was actually going to make a joke when you said like what do realtors do during the day? And Brian Buffini he just actually went through kind of a survey and what most agents are doing during the day, if they're being honest, a lot of them are doing errands. They're running and they're not like you're supposed to be like doing lead generation, talking to clients, but
right.
when it comes down to it, um, you do things when you have time to do them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's really cool. So you decided to go full time.
Hmm. Even more full time than I already was,
Oh,
I would
sorry,
say.
double
Right?
full time.
So
So you were doing double full time. You brought it down to one full time real estate, which is
exactly, exactly.
more than the typical 40 hours usually.
Right. So that first time, that first year that when I was done at Terranet, which
Yeah,
ended in 2011. So that first year, it almost felt like a vacation, even though it was still, I was only working one full-time job at that point,
yeah,
right? But I just had so much more free time or me time, I suppose, right? And
absolutely.
more time to dedicate to real estate.
It's so funny. I think it's whatever you're used to. Because I remember when I was in high school and university, I worked for Shoppers Drug Mart. So I'd have to work till like 10:30 or midnight. And then my first job out of university, they had me working. I would work my job and then I would cover the reception for the last hour and a half. So 5:30, I had to leave. And everyone was like, oh, it's like, how are you doing? Like, it's so late. I'm like, I get to leave at 5:30. I
Yeah.
was so excited. I'm like, I have all this time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. It's what you're used to, right? It's
Yeah.
similar to when Canadians go to the southern U.S. to Florida or
Yeah.
wherever, right? And it's to them it's cold, but we're wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It's what you're
And
accustomed to,
flip-flops.
right?
Yep. 100%. Yep. That happened to us in Vegas once in February. Everyone's wearing jackets and we're just like, this is so good.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay, so you decide then you felt like you felt like you had a lot more free time. And that, if I'm not mistaken, lines up with when you started volunteering.
probably within a year. So
Okay.
we ended at Terranet in 2011
Yep.
in February, I think it was, or March. And so it was 2012 that I'm like, I love this industry. I want to start giving back, right? It's given me so much over the years. So, and I love the networking, meeting people. It's almost some of the committees that you're on, it's almost like a peek behind the curtain of what's coming down the pipeline,
Yeah.
right? Of rules and bylaws, which I know are not overly exciting. It's
I
great
know.
bedtime reading.
They're important though, right? Like it's
They are. Yeah.
as much as it's not fun to dig into them, you need to know them.
Yep. Yeah, well, and I was on the professional standards committee for 7 years, and so some of the complaints that we would receive either from other realtors or the public,
Yeah.
um, it's like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that, or I shouldn't do it that way, right?
Yeah.
So it helps sharpen your own skills just being on those committees and task forces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Years ago, I was on the ITSO committee when they first had it. And I remember this is when I was coming from Guelph.
Hmm.
And Katrina, who's the CEO in Guelph, I asked her, I said, like, are you sure? Like, I'm the one because I was the one that would always like I'd have all these questions and then I felt like when I first started, I was the one that would always get a phone call like you can't do that. I'm like, are you sure you can't do that? You're like, no, you definitely can't do that. So I'm like, okay, I won't. But
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
if anyone knows the things you can and can't do, Chris, I feel like it's you. You're like, you got this.
You would think so, right? But it's an ever evolving industry, and there's
Changes
new
all the time.
rules, and yeah, exactly. So it's great to stay connected that way as well. It helps
Yes.
you be in the know,
Yep.
and I actually was on a virtual meeting with Katrina two
Oh,
days ago.
I love her.
Um, so Guelph is now part of One Point, right? So there
Yes.
were four boards that merged about a year and a half ago, I believe. So
Yes.
yeah, so great lady. She's on top of things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so you decided to start volunteering. And what was that first what was the first step into volunteering?
A director of the
Oh,
board.
just jump
So
right in. You don't go
yeah.
small. Okay.
So again, Barb Whitney, my office mate and
Yeah.
mentor, I suppose, at that time, she encouraged me to take the real estate courses, and then she encouraged me to run for the board. I'm like,
Nice.
okay, I don't know what that means exactly, but let's give it a shot. So I ran, I got elected, and then they quickly put me on about four committees and task forces, and um, so
Just
yeah, it
start
was
small, right?
yeah, exactly. So no, it was a great experience. Community engagement committee was another favorite of
Yes.
mine as well.
Yes,
Um,
I was on it before I was with Rico, and now I'm on it again. I have my
awesome.
orientation in December. I'm
Well,
excited.
I will be on it with you in 2026.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very
So
cool.
yeah, so just I enjoy giving back and volunteering, right? And colleagues often say, "Well, I don't have time for that," right? So I'm like, really? But what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
I'm a fairly busy realtor in real estate. Plus, I have
Yeah.
family, two kids.
Yeah.
Um, you can always, if you time block and organize your calendar properly, there's
Yeah.
always time for a few extra things here and there.
And if you, I think they always say, like, if you need something done, ask a busy person because you figure
Yeah,
it out. But
exactly.
also, like, I mean, to your point, I mean, I do a lot of volunteering in our industry as well. And you, it doesn't have to take away from your business, right? Like, there's always ways around it.
I feel like it actually adds to your business, right? Because again, being connected to all those people, it's a pipeline, it's a network. You're meeting people from across the province and Canada, and
Yeah.
sometimes internationally as well. So they can be great referral sources. And just to call something like I can call up the president of Treb or Ottawa,
Yeah.
and say, what's your market like? What
Yeah.
challenges are you having right now?
And that's the thing, right? Like in such an important profession that we devote our lives to, it's just, it's bringing it, it's not just a job, right? Like for so many of us, it's a passion, and we want
Mhm.
not only to have our own career be successful, but also to elevate the whole thing, right? So I think I love, and thank you so much for all that you do because it's just, it's a big deal.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so what was the path for you to get to become the chair? So you're a director and then you kind of stuck with that and then you took some time off for the family, came back. Was it just kind of a natural evolution or was it something that you had on your goal list for a while?
I don't think it was necessarily a goal initially. So I did a 2 year term, 2013, 14, I think it was, and then took 3 or 4 years off and came back. So actually did three more 2 year terms as a director. And our bylaws say at that point, so you max out at three terms. So
Okay.
you either have to step up to the executive or get out
Okay.
for at least a year.
Fair enough.
Um, so at that point, I had the confidence and been around the table long enough, right? That I thought, no, I do really enjoy this, and I know it's a bigger time commitment, and stepping up to the executive is a 3 year commitment, right? Because
Yeah.
you're chair elect for a year, chair, and then past chair.
Nice.
Uh, so I've got a month and a bit left of the chair role. We're done calendar year, so it's December 31st. Not that anyone's counting. I've really enjoyed it, actually. It's been a great year. Um, and yeah, I would encourage all of our members, and no matter which industry you're in, if you're in mortgages or insurance or
Yep.
whatever you're in, get involved, give back to your
Yes.
community. There's always task forces and committees that need volunteers.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing, right? It's just knowing that because real estate and other entrepreneur ventures can be very lonely. And so anything that takes that away, anything where you're getting together as a unit, and because as much as we love all of our non-realtor and non-entrepreneur friends, sometimes they don't get it, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
6:30 and there's a phone call and like sometimes like you see the look and you're like, it's 6:30. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. The day's just starting.
You're like,
Yeah.
and then and they just don't get it because like at if they get a call from their boss at 6:30, they can call back tomorrow at 9
Right.
because that's like a very
Right.
solid line.
Whereas yesterday I got an invite to the St. Thomas Elgin Home Builders Association, the Golden Hammer Awards, which
Oh,
is for construction and sub trades and
yeah.
everything. Um, for St. Thomas Elgin, I got that invite at about 1:30 yesterday. I'm like, well, I'm available, so I guess I'm going out tonight to this awards, and I ended up presenting an award, which I didn't know that was part of it. So
Well,
I
thank goodness
yeah,
you were available.
yeah, had a great dinner, chatted
Amazing.
with Housing Minister Rob Flack,
Right.
met Karen Vecchio, former MP, and her husband was the MC, Mike Vecchio, um,
Fantastic.
and it was a great night. But yeah, there's so I got home about 10 p.m. last night, right? So that there's commitments.
Yes. Now with so when you were so as chair, you travel. There's how much travel would you say there is versus when you were doing the other roles?
There's a little bit more. So as a director, we typically go to the Canadian Real Estate Association and the Ontario Real Estate Association AGMs,
Yep.
which are March, April timeframe typically. So one is so AREA is in Toronto, CREA is in Ottawa.
Yep.
I'm also on the PAC or Political Advocacy Committee.
Yes, I'm
Political
very interested in that committee actually.
Yeah. So we're in Ottawa, um, lobbying our MPs from all across Canada.
Those are the
Uh,
pack days, right?
Pack days, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was about 3 weeks ago,
Yep.
talking about the missing middle in housing. So, uh, like family size apartments, semi-detached, and townhouses, but big enough for a family, but small enough that they're affordable,
Yeah.
right? So traditionally, uh, a while back, builders were building what made them the most money, which were the McMansions, the huge homes,
Yeah.
which were fine for a while. And then they seemed to go the extreme other direction to apartment condos.
Yep.
But now we've got a low spot in that middle, right, of
Yes.
affordable smaller family housing, right? So just advocating our MPs and government to focus on like we all know we have a housing shortage in Ontario, right? But it's what do we actually need to make sense, right? If you keep building $1.5–2 million giant homes, sorry, this is London market where our average price is 605
Yes.
right now, right?
Yeah.
So in Toronto that might not be quite as impressive, but um, yeah, we need those affordable family homes, right? Just to
Absolutely.
grow the economy, grow housing supply, and help Canada grow with more families as well.
Absolutely. No, and that's so important. And so so as a director, you'd go to those two, and as a chair, you're going to a few like basically the question is like how much time is it taking away from your actual on the ground ability to work in your market?
I've been thinking about that recently, and at the end of the year, I want to go back and check my calendar and total up all the days.
It might be
Um,
a few.
so we we typically would go to NAR, which is the National Association of
Yes.
Realtors conference in the US.
Yep.
So we were there in Boston last November,
Yep.
the day it was on election day. And I thought we were going to land and see cars on fire and
Yep. Oh
riots in
my
the street.
goodness.
Surprisingly, there was nothing really. People were just glued to the TVs watching the results come in. So um, this year we're avoiding US conferences as much as possible due to, everything,
Well, yeah,
tariffs.
fair enough.
Uh,
Yep, all of it. I get it.
yeah. I don't think I need to go into that, but we've canceled
Oh,
2 US conferences and we're trying to stay in Canada this
I
year.
think, yeah, and I think that's a very popular opinion
Yeah.
for Canadians right now. And I mean, hopefully it changes, but right now I think
Yep.
yeah, we're all on the same page.
Exactly. So I think off the top of my head, I've got one more conference coming up in Toronto in about 10 days.
That's the
And
Powerhouse Conference.
yes, yeah. And
I'm
we'll
going to that.
be
I'm very excited.
awesome. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
And we'll be lobbying our MPPs on at Queen's Park for similar missing middle type stuff. I imagine we haven't actually seen the agenda yet for that, um, but yeah, I think that'll be my seventh conference this year. So
Okay. Busy.
each one is anywhere from about 3 to 6 days, typically, depending
Yes.
where you're going.
Okay.
So
So it's yeah, so I mean I think there's probably beyond um there's probably lots of official reasons to keep it to 1 year terms, but probably just even for capacity,
yeah.
for your ability to do because it's you're doing the job, but also you need to do your job.
Well, and exactly. So each month, L-Star releases our monthly stats from the previous month.
Yeah.
So we always get calls from the London Free Press, CTV News, AM 980, uh, Fanshawe, XFM.
Yep.
So right after this, I'm doing a Fanshawe XFM podcast as well.
Nice.
Uh, so that takes a bit of time. Like each one's
Yeah.
maybe only 7 to 10 minutes long. However, you need to be prepared to talk about what's the market doing, what are the stats doing, which again goes back to it. It helps with our own clients knowing this
Yeah.
information. It's what we talk about all the time, but just brushing up on that and honing your skills.
Yeah, what's when we have a weekly office meeting, but then I have a team meeting as well, and that's the thing. It's just getting on top of that because if like our clients are confused. So if we
Mhm.
also are confused, that doesn't help anyone. So
Yeah,
just even have like we don't
right.
have crystal balls, no one can predict the future, but if we can at least have a handle on what's going on, it's easier to kind of calm those fears, right?
Exactly. And we've prices just finally started dropping the last 2, 3 months here in London. They've been
Yes.
holding pretty stable for about a
Sure,
year and a
yeah,
half, surprisingly, because we have record high listings and pretty low number of sales comparatively. It's not horrible, right? But compared to what we've seen the last 5 years, it's down.
yeah,
So usually when you have high supply and low demand, prices are going to drop, right? They
yeah,
finally started to 2, 3 months ago. So we had been hovering around the 650 mark for a year and a half. And now we're about 605. So it's
yeah.
what, 7% roughly down?
It's and I think it was kind of we were all expecting something to happen. Obviously it's when it does, you're like, oh,
Right.
for the sellers anyway.
Well, and it's explaining it to those sellers too, right? That all of a sudden now you're competing against all those other listings in your neighborhood and you're chasing a
Yep,
falling price market, right? So trying to keep your listing price in line with the actual
yep,
market as well, right?
exactly. And I would say like it's really cool in London. Do you get to speak on the that new City of London first time home buyers plan?
I did a quick one on that a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Nice. I find that like for anyone listening that is in the London area, or if you have it similar in your own cities, um, the the plan is really great. I actually just firmed up on a deal where it was my listing, but the buyers use that program. I have a buyer going through it right now. It takes a
Nice.
little longer
Yep.
than the typical like 5 days of financing, but it's pretty cool. Like it's a
Mhm.
pretty cool incentive.
So London used to have that program. I actually had a buyer use it probably around 2013, give or
Nice.
take. Um, and she's still in the same townhouse. So after 20 years, that loan is paid off, right?
Nice.
In
Yeah.
full. So I don't know, she's been there 12, 13 years, I think. So in another 7, 8 years, it should be paid off. So
Well, and at that point, yeah, if it's just 7 more years and you like your house, like
yeah, just
that's
stay.
a not, and and I find like, because years ago, I think the average was people would move every 3 to 5 years. And then I know it bumped up to 7 to 9, but I'm finding people like some people will move more quickly, but I also have quite a few people that have been in the same place for like 17, 18, 19, 20 years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's not completely unreasonable at all.
Yeah. The average I always use is 7 years for
Nice.
people to move, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously there's changes in life in,
Yeah.
marriage, babies, all that
All the
stuff,
fun.
or
Exactly.
employment. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So and what will your role be as the president, as past president? So do you like will you be advising the new president or how does that work?
Basically, yes. It's kind of a sounding board of what do we do in this scenario, sort of thing. So Jack Lane is our current past chair right now, um, and Robin Tiller is our chair elect. So next year she'll be chair, I'll be past chair, and Netta Bolak will be our chair elect. So
Nice.
yeah, it's just it's basically you've now had some experience, you've dealt with the media, you've done an AGM, like hosted it, and you're building a network of connections and relationships with people in the industry, right? So just introducing them to those people as well and helping their year go as smooth as possible.
I like that. That's very cool. Um, what would you say you learned kind of about? I mean, I think you kind of came from a spot that you were juggling two things, so you probably picked up a lot of helpful tips. But what would you say for anyone who's trying to add, like oh, you're literally juggling. I
I
love
heard you
that.
mention juggling.
I love it. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna sidestep for 1 second. So, have you heard of Mind Valley?
No.
Okay, so Mind Valley is like, so it's a gentleman named Vishen. He started it in 2016, I believe. But it's just like an online community. They get together in person as well, but they have courses. So Jim Quick has a course on memory training because a lot of us will say like as we get older, like memory becomes a problem. So I took this course in the summer, and one of the things he suggests is juggling for mental fitness. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
just really good for you. Okay,
Well,
I need to know.
I think I need to get back to practicing it because yeah, I've been feeling that lately of what was that person's name? What was I doing 5 seconds ago?
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Well, you need that like if there's too much going in all the time and you don't have that downtime. When did you learn to juggle?
I was probably 12, 13.
And why? I love this. Why did like what was the you're like,
I was always into sports like baseball, volleyball, basketball, and stuff like that. So it was just
okay,
something else. I think my parents gave me a juggling for klutzes book for Christmas one year.
okay.
Um, so pro tip when you're learning,
Yeah.
stand with your legs against your bed or a couch
Oh,
because you tend to you want to move forward or throw it forward and
okay.
that prevents you from moving forward. And when you drop it all the time, it's less distance to bend over to pick it back up again.
I like that. Thank you. I know I was practicing with socks, so I am crushing it with two,
Yep.
but bringing the third one is hard. Because he's like, yeah, he's you have to just like you're basically like independently doing it, but then
Yep.
it's that third one. I'm like, oh, how do I get it in there?
And then you start learning tricks after you do that. So, yeah.
Okay.
So at our AGM, I actually juggled for, I don't know, 10 seconds probably. Right. And so it's like the real estate industry, right? You've got, see, I
Yeah,
dropped one already. So,
that's good though.
um,
I mean, you are already ahead of what I can do. So
yeah.
that's really
um,
cool. And it's
I think
yeah,
it
you
was,
do have to, it's a lot of juggling.
yeah, I think it was grade 12. I did my English speech on juggling and I juggled for the whole 4 or 5 minutes, however long it was. And
While you were giving a speech, oh, that's
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. So I said one of the benefits is, for job interviews, you can really impress your future boss or probably do an English speech on one and get 100%. So I think I got about an 82%, which for me, I was pretty happy. So
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. I think it would have been fun to watch. Um, very okay, so but um yeah, Mind Valley was about juggling. I, yes, tips. Okay, so um, for people who feel like they just don't have the time, what would you say? What are some tips you have for time management, time blocking to get it all done so you don't feel you're always kind of like behind the eight ball, but you're obviously a successful realtor. You have a successful track record in giving back to the industry. Like what would you say are some key tips for people that would like to get involved, but they feel like, oh, where would I find the time?
yeah, so time blocking your calendar is the big thing, right? So um, put yourself first. So any vacations that you're planning with by yourself, your friends, family,
Yeah.
slot those into your calendar first. Those come first because those are how you recharge and refuel.
Yeah.
Um, and then start putting any work or volunteer obligations in. So I would say quite often volunteer obligations are kind of set by the board as to when they are.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll do it like a doodle poll of what works best for everybody, depending on what committee it is.
Yeah.
But as an example, for the board of directors, those are all set in like November, December, the year before, right? So we already know what next year's schedule is. So put all of those in your calendar, and those are things that you can't miss. Now, obviously, things come up if there's an emergency or whatever. Um, but those should be your priorities. And then there's still tons of time left in the year and in the days, right? So a committee task force meeting might be anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours, depending on what it is, right? So you still have pretty much a half to a whole day left after that. So, uh, and calls will wait, right? So talking about going to conferences, I have a great, I'm a solo agent as well, but in my office, I've got several other agents that I always notify them like, hey, I'm going to be gone out of the office from, these 5 days.
Yep.
They're like, not a problem. If you have a buyer that needs some houses shown, just reach out to us. We're happy to help. Right.
Can I just want to reiterate something that you just said. So, guys, like, that's where the network is so important. So if you're listening and you already have a strong network, that's amazing. But like what Dale just said, right? So you have built, like, and you had said it, like you've built within the community all these great relationships. And that's the thing, right? You work on your own, but you're not alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I would do the same for them too, right? If they're away on vacation or have an emergency, like if I'm available, I'm happy to help you out, right? It
Absolutely.
goes both ways.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so time blocking is important. And then what about like as a realtor, what would you say? So people listening will be at all different levels of their careers. I think the one, or me, the one constant this year is that we have had a very strange year. So I think this is we always say like you build those skills when it's quiet. And this year has been, we were talking about it before we went live. Um, it was very busy, then very slow, then very busy, then very slow, then very like, so what would you say are some tips um, for the career side of it to continue your success for agents that might just need some extra advice?
Never stop learning is a big one.
Yes.
There's all kinds of courses out there. You're right. Real estate can definitely be a roller coaster effect at
Yeah.
times, right? So, um, I mean, the way to smooth that out, in theory, is continuous lead generation. Because quite often when you're getting a lead now, you might not see the results for about 90 days, right? So if you get super busy, say March, April, May, you're super busy.
Yeah.
So then you stop doing lead generation. Guess what's going to happen in June, July, and August? It's
Yeah.
going to be pretty quiet. But then all of a sudden you have time to do lead generation again. So then the fall is going to be busy.
Exactly.
Right? So if you're steady, and this year I have not been steady because of other obligations,
Yeah.
um, it's still been a pretty amazing year for me, I would say. However, it's my lead gen and my routine is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Looking forward to next year, having it a little bit calmer so that I can focus on getting back into certain routines that I need to get back to.
Scheduling and all that. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I was actually just on a really cool business planning webinar yesterday and with Wade Webb, and he's out west, and he was saying um having I'm trying to remember how he put it, but basically like having a moment to go back to the beginning of your career. So when you were like first like hungry, figuring it out, um, what did you do that was successful for you? And what did you do that you thought you should that didn't work for you? And then go back to those things. Because so often people kind of forget the beginning and they'll go, what did I do 4 years ago? And whatever you did 4 years ago, you may not work because 4 years ago was like the middle of like the craziest pandemic. So
Right.
like what did I do? I could have put a post-it note on a house and had a lineup to deal with.
Exactly. Yeah. Put a post-it note at the gas station on a gas pump and you'll get 10
Yeah,
calls, right?
100%. But it's just not the way it is now. So yeah, so it was kind of a cool thing to say, like, go back to the beginning and say, like, what did you do that was bringing you, like, how did you get where you are today when you were brand new?
Create a database. So
Yes.
brainstorm. I mean, you can go on Google and just one of the most important tools that I had early on was a brainstorming. It was just a page of who is everybody that you know.
Yes. Yep.
So not only your friends and families, but start thinking a little bit wider than that. Like what hobbies do you have? Volunteer groups that you're in?
Yep.
Like do you volunteer at your church or scouts or you coach soccer or whatever, right? Who are those the parents that you know in those groups, your friends, family? Who's your dentist, your doctor, your landscaper, your the guy that snow plows your driveway?
Yep.
You know, who are all those people? Talk to everybody. So early on, I created a pretty solid database, and then I created an announcement letter of, "Hey, big news! I'm now in real estate."
Love it.
And I went to Home Depot and sorry, Staples, and you can buy peel and stick magnets for your business cards.
Yes. Yep.
And my wife and kids and I were sitting at the table, hundreds of these things, sticking business cards to them. And that was 20 years ago almost. And I still go into people's homes and they're still on people's refrigerators in their
I
kitchen.
love that. I
And
love that.
my mom has about five different versions of them now, I think.
Yep. Yeah, my family has all my magnets, and it is nice when you go and you like the magnets. So like I'll see pictures on Facebook of old clients, even from like Guelph, and like they have my magnet. I used to have an emergency contact magnet, and it's still there, and I'm like, hi. It's really
It, it
fun. I love
it
that.
works. And I feel like stuff like that probably works even more now than it did back then because everything's so digital nowadays,
Yeah,
right?
you
So
don't get anything, and if they basically see you the whole time, like
right.
you're there, and so you can't really be forgotten.
And
Um,
so last night I just wrote five handwritten cards that
yes,
I'll be
I'm
mailing
all
out
about
today
them.
to some past clients, right? So it's
Yeah.
a habit that had fallen off due to time and
Yes.
laziness, I guess. But it's important to stay in touch and reconnect with people.
Well, and that's the thing, guys, and we talk about this all the time. People love getting something in the mail that isn't either selling them something or asking for money, right?
Right.
So it's not a bill and it's not a flyer. It's an actual note to them, and it means so much.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning. So when I first became a realtor in Ottawa, so I'm in my third city. So in Ottawa, I was actually with Keller Williams. I was first with Keller Williams VIP and then Keller Williams Ottawa, which is now Remax Hallmark, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I moved to Guelph, they didn't have a Keller Williams at the time. So I ended up going to Royal LePage, fell in love, and the rest is history. But
I think one of the Keller Williams in Ottawa just switched to a Royal LePage in the
uh,
summertime, if
really?
I'm
Okay,
mistaken.
cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I think one maybe became a Remax and one's a Royal LePage.
okay. Okay. Good to know. I didn't even know that. That's good info. But what I loved at the beginning, so as a new agent, I still remember the training. And some of the trainers were so good. Like we had this one commercial agent named Sherry. I can't remember her last name, but she is probably responsible for my safety for the last 15 years because she was just this like small little woman and but she would tell us like she was a commercial realtor and she would tell us like this is what I do to stay safe. This is what like I make sure I get everyone's name. I don't meet strangers at a listing. I take a picture of their license. I call it into the office. Like so all the things I do. Um
Hmm.
Usually my husband ends up being like the security at the office if it's late at
Yeah.
night, but um it's yeah, fond memories for sure.
Well, that safety is important, right? And so I was in a safety training session. It was probably 3 or 4 months ago at Elstar. Were you
I
at
was
that?
supposed to be there. Yes, I had to miss it and I was very disappointed.
I that was about a 6 hour safety session that day. I had to leave in the middle of that to go to another L-Star meeting for about 2 or 3 hours. So I caught the start and the end of it.
Yeah.
Um, Listening to them, it was husband and wife team that were the instructors, and they're both martial artists as well. But listening to some of their stories, it's like I never want to go on a showing ever again, or like do an open house ever again, right? Like it's just, but it's being prepared and recognizing red flags and
Yeah.
listening to your gut.
Like one of the things that we do for open houses, so when you get to an open house, you go in, like as an agent that's hosting it, you go in, you lock the door behind you, then you go turn on all the lights, then you open the back door, and then you open the front door. I also won't go in the basement at open houses with people. So I will just like I greet them, I get their information, and then I invite them to look around, and then I chat with them when they come back. Mostly because A, I don't want to be like I don't want to be in a place where I can't get out.
Mhm.
And if they don't give me their information, I won't let them continue. Like I'll invite them to book a showing. So
Yeah,
it's if someone's really uncomfortable giving me info, that's okay. But I'm responsible for this house today. So if you really don't feel comfortable, you can book a showing, either with your agent or with us, however you want. But right now it's not going to work out. I've only had to do that like 3 times in 15 years. But that's all direct from that training to say, like, I don't want to, if someone's going to be adversarial just about giving me their info, I don't want to be alone in a house with them.
absolutely. Yeah, you have no idea who they are, right?
Exactly.
Out of that session, he also had a tactical flashlight with him. I
Oh,
ended up buying one. It's probably about the size of, that's a little close, but it's I don't know, maybe 6, 7 inches long, the one that I bought, which is
okay.
probably a little too big. 4 or 5 is probably better. But it has a strobe. It's like LED
Oh,
3000
okay.
lumens, super bright. He said just carry that in your pocket, or if you're doing an open house, have it handy. Um, if you feel threatened by somebody, blast them with the strobe function. It'll blind them for 5 seconds and gives you enough
Get
time to
away.
be safe and get away. So, so
Crazy. And it's just, and like, that's the thing. It's just little things. Like realtors are at risk. Not just realtors, so any time. I think we are a bit more unique because we are going into people's homes. I know a lot of mortgage agents, when I first started, would go for the at-home appointments. And I don't know that, I know one woman that worked with RBC that she just stopped doing the at-home appointments because she felt unsafe at one and she was like, no, no more. They can meet at an office.
yeah,
So you just have to be aware, right?
absolutely. I think the stats that they had were that realtors are 400 times more at risk than the average
Yeah.
job, right? Just because, like you said, we're going into strangers' homes. Um, we do our best. Like I always prefer to meet them at my own office,
Yeah.
um, or at a neutral site like a coffee shop or something
Yeah.
like that, right?
It also shows more that they're serious, right? So if you're like even just to meet at a listing if you don't know someone, it's like um our job isn't just to open a door, right? It's to serve a client. So I think
Mhm.
like even as a good practice to meet at the coffee shop, meet at the office first.
Yeah.
And if there's no appetite for that, then is there, are you just showing the house?
Well, part of that is qualifying them as a buyer as well, right? Like,
Exactly.
have you been pre-approved? What are you looking for? Just having that initial conversation, which you can really garner a lot of information and kind of get a good feeling of who they are and that they're serious or not, sort of thing.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to mention, because you said about you were talking about the L-Star, the safety training. So the board, and again, whether you're in London or another city, the boards always put a lot of effort into having some really great training and really great resources. So take advantage of it. I mean, logically, you're already paying for it, right? So like if you might have a bit of an extra fee if you sign up for something, but at the end of the day, like there's so many resources that can help you. So if you're sitting there going, oh, like I don't know what to do, just get out there. Go maybe volunteer, maybe go take a course, go sit down with some agents. Like there's so many things you can do. How do you guys figure out what courses and stuff to put forward to the membership?
some of it is history of what are people enjoying because they always ask for feedback after certain well after all sessions of how did it go, what did you get out of it, any advice on improving this course.
Nice.
um, and we do send out annual surveys as well of what else would you like to see us offer. Is it IT training, like social media training or self-defense, safety, what do you guys want, sort of thing, right? And
Yeah,
that's our job as a board as well to provide those services and listen to our members and give back so that, like I said earlier, it's continuous learning, right? So
absolutely.
um, the more you know, the more you know.
I love that. Very cool. Well, thank you so much. Um, Guys, if you want to get in touch with Dale, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you if they have additional questions, either about business or about volunteering and your
So
experience?
feel free to call or text or email me. So my cell number 519-859-3253, which is actually 519-859 Dale, but
Ah,
nobody
love that.
uses those anymore.
Fun
So
though, that's good. We'll put that in the show notes.
yeah. So yeah, call or text me or email me hello@dalemarsh.ca.
Love that
Connect,
so much.
connect with me on Facebook or Instagram as well.
Wonderful. Dale, this is so great. Again, thank you so much for all you do and for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm glad that you invited me.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I hope everyone has a fantastic, fantastic week. This has been Crystal Lee Moore Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor. Crystal Lee Moore, thanks for listening, guys. Bye.